The man stared ahead in absolute terror, and quickly dunked his head underwater. He held his breath and didn't dare move a muscle. Then a pair of massive feet appeared right in front of him. A sheep nearby bolted in a panic, but was snatched up by a giant hand in the next instant. The man still buried in the water didn't dare move. The next second, the horrifying sight in front of him left him completely frozen. The terrified man sat there, mouth wide open in shock. His companion, hiding behind a tree, finally let out a long breath. Then curiosity got the better of him, and he peeked out to look. He stared in disbelief at the enormous creature before him. But just as he got completely absorbed in staring, the giant seemed to catch a whiff of him. The terrified chubby guy scrambled back behind the tree. Then the giant took a massive stride forward. The man in the water, completely out of air, burst to the surface. But the giant had already spotted the chubby guy behind the tree. With one motion, it ripped the entire tree straight out of the ground. The chubby guy, knowing things were very bad, stumbled backward. And the two of them just locked eyes in a long, intense stare. It finally clicked. The chubby guy spun around and took off running. The giant just stood there watching him sprint away, without the slightest sense of urgency. Then it covered the distance in just a few enormous steps, and knocked him out cold with one swat. Never having seen a human before, the terrifying giant leaned in for a closer look. Just as it scooped up the chubby guy to leave, the captain, desperate to save him, charged forward with his sword drawn and drove the blade deep into the giant's ankle. The giant winced and glanced back, then gave the lightest little kick, and the captain went flying into a rock and blacked out. The giant then casually yanked the sword out of its ankle. Well, that sealed it. Now both of them were getting packed up and taken away. Jack could only watch helplessly from the side, as his companions fell right into the giant's hands. The giant looked over its catch, clearly satisfied, then turned and walked off. Jack, terrified of being spotted, ducked back into the water. Luckily, the giant didn't notice him, and walked right past. Once the giant was far enough away, Jack quietly slipped out and followed behind. He'd find his moment to rescue the others. Meanwhile, the other three came to the edge of a cliff. Curly pretended to spot the princess, luring his bald companion over, then shoved him off the cliff when he wasn't looking. Now he could do whatever he pleased. But just as they were celebrating, gloating over their little scheme, a massive hand reached down and grabbed the unstable one. It was about to shove him straight into its mouth without a second thought. Curly was absolutely paralyzed with fear, completely unaware that an even greater danger was lurking right behind him.